for entertainment purposes only. I don't know what I'm talking about, so don't listen to me, all right? Let's keep going. All right, welcome back to another video, guys. I appreciate having you all here. Today, we're going to be talking about how to make RETATRUTIDE hit like day one again through 3 simple steps. And don't worry, it's actually going to be pretty specific here. I own Forged Genetics. That's why I got all this shit going on in the background. And we've helped people make crazy transformations. Now, I have been reiterating this recently because a lot of new guys don't know this. We work with a lot of bodybuilding clients too, okay? But on the topic of RETATRUTIDE, I'll throw up some of the fat loss clients, some extremes, and some obviously crazy transformations, but they weren't crazy fat to begin with, but we've absolutely dramatically improved physiques, right? We primarily work with enhanced clients. So just know that not only do we go off of studies here, we're going off of true applications and experience, okay? So yeah, for one, can you run Reta forever? Well, in theory, yes. But should you? No. Okay? Here's the deal. I have been on it for, well, technically speaking, this is why we're making this video. I did come off of it for a period of time to test this theory. I also had others do it as well. So here's the deal. When you are using Reta, right, it obviously works great. We know that it's a triple agonist that acts on 3 different receptors. If you guys want the more deep dive on that, go watch my other videos, okay? But what the point is of this video is your body gets acclimated, right? You notice when you first take it, oh my gosh, miracle. This works better than anything I've ever used. I love it. This is going to change my life. Everybody feels like that. It is great. It is great. After some time, you'll notice that dose doesn't hit the same, doesn't feel the same. So what do? You go up in dose, which isn't inherently wrong. Now, I'm not saying there's people not mistiming those. There absolutely is, and people overdoing it. But to some degree, at some point, are you going to have to go up? Yes. You can reference my other videos if you want those dosing protocols and references. So assuming all of that is normal and you're doing everything correctly, so that's not inherently the problem, then great. Let's move forward. You will get to a point in which, one, hopefully you've successfully accomplished the goal in mind. If you get there, then really you are able to transition off of it at that point, even if it's been only 8 weeks, if that's all it took you to get there, right? Just saying, you don't have to continue to use it, okay? Just because you're not at, I mean, there really isn't a timeline, to be honest with you. There's people using it for 6 months, 2 years plus, but the point is, you know, generally speaking, you're not supposed to be using it forever, right? But your body's going to get acclimated, okay? And what I would suggest, first and foremost, now we're going to go over these 3 simple steps, but one, before I even get to the steps, pace yourself properly. I told you guys, if you're doing your doses incorrectly, this is already going to exacerbate this problem and have you run into issues where you really shouldn't have ran into to begin with, okay? But beyond that, let's just say in general, because this is why it's so nuanced, okay? Because take, for example, you're someone who's experiencing this issue and you're only halfway through your fat loss journey or a quarter way through your fat loss journey, or you're someone who's completely finished and now you're experiencing the issue. Doesn't even matter as much for that individual. Probably not. He completed the mission. And as long as he maintains his current habits that helped get him there, then he's able to transition out of that Reta. You see what I'm saying? So really the guys that make that it is more of a concern for are going to be the people that are like, dude, I'm not even finished yet. I still have more fat to lose. What do I do? Well, again, before we cover the steps, I do want to mention, make sure you don't start Reta unless you need Reta, okay? Now, I guess we could argue that, is it really a need for anybody? Sure. But my point to that is, I've showed fat loss transformations, as you guys have seen, right? To a lot of those, we actually didn't use Reta for a period of time and then threw it in towards the point in which it became necessary to actually utilize, okay? I've given very good examples of this through another YouTube video where I show clients that I've used Reta with. Go watch that video if you want specifics, man. I was very explicit on everything, on their diet, training, everything, so you guys can really understand what I mean. Because I do feel like as well, people are throwing in Reta too early. So for one, your first step that I will say, and some of these are going to be more, I think, beneficial than others. But the first one's going to be reset receptor sensitivity. Okay? Now, I want you guys to listen because I'm going to give you guys 2 other steps. And these are all not particularly in this order. This is just pick and choose, a combination of all 3, combination of 2, to see what you want to do. Because I'm trying to give you guys a game plan that can work dependent on your situation. Okay, dependent on your situation. That's why I was mentioning some of you guys are only halfway through your fat loss journey. You want to keep going. Some of you guys are, already done. If you guys are already done, then you don't need to keep doing it. You can transition out, etc. Now, let's give an example and say you're the person that's already done. And you are, say, at 6 to 8 milligrams, whatever. You're pretty high. Titrate down slowly, okay? Titrate down every 2 weeks at about 1 milligram, okay? Maybe at most 2 milligrams. Okay, but I would do 1 milligram at that point and slowly titrate off completely. And then at that point, just make sure your food consumption is around maintenance. Okay. Now, let's say you are only halfway or a quarter way there. In that instance, to reset receptor sensitivity, truthfully, what I would look at doing is cycling off. Okay. Now, obviously, you can just do the same kind of deal like I was just suggesting with titrating down, or it depends on kind of where you're at. Because if you're only 2 to 3 milligrams in, then that titrating down portion will be a lot quicker. You see what I'm saying? You're not at maybe 10 mgs, you're only at 2 to 3. You're going to be able to titrate down within a month, month and a half, and then be off, okay? Then, once you are fully off, give it 4 weeks, okay? Because we're already accounting for the fact of that first 2, 4, 6 weeks. Remember, I said every 2 weeks. Drop maybe 1 milligram roughly, okay? During those 6 weeks, maybe you were at 3 milligrams to start. By that 6th week, you've already gotten some of that extra excess out of your system, okay? Now maybe what's still running through your system is maybe 1 mg, maybe 2 mgs or something like that, roughly, okay? Give it 4 weeks minimum, nothing. Cold turkey, call it, after you titrate off. This will help reset sensitivity, okay? Once that receptor sensitivity is reset, you're pretty much good to go. You can reintroduce and start it back to where you first introduced, and it will hit right about the same. If you want to play it safe, you can always take that 4-week off period and bump it up to 6 just to really be safe. But truthfully, most of the time, what I've seen with clients, 4 weeks is more than enough, including that titration down period. Okay? All right, that's first and foremost, and probably one of the most successful ways of going about it. Second step, including another compound, which is going to help with mitochondrial efficiency and basically help RETA work even better. One of the things really helpful from RETA is that it acts on the GIP receptor. Now, granted, tirzepatide also does do that, or Zepbound, whatever you want to refer to it as, but MOTS-C also can help with this. Now, if you are starting to work your way up on that RETA and you're feeling like things are maybe, they're okay, but you don't want to keep bumping up that dose as aggressively, maybe it's just from a financial standpoint, maybe it's just because you want to be able to get away with the least amount for the most amount of progress, which I agree with you. We don't want to use anything at too much of an amount if it's not necessary. MOTS-C can be a great help here, okay? Definitely works synergistically with RETA, okay? And the way I like to really explain it is that it helps RETA work even better, all right? So that's what you would be looking at, including MOTS-C. If you guys want to go watch other videos where I cover the dosing and all that kind of stuff, go for it. I will give you guys a link at the end to where you guys can join for all this kind of information as well. So, I mean, you could just skip to the end portion if you want to, but preferably listen because there's still going to be some good information here. Now, I'm going to hit you guys with a double whammy here, okay? So it's going to be kind of like 2 extra steps, but the third one I will say is making sure you are tracking cardio and steps, okay? Because what likely is happening here at this point, the more you consistently do something, eventually maybe you start out really strong, right? And then after some time, things have been going really well. You start not to be quite as ultra specific as you were, and you're just not as hype about it anymore. That mental stimulation isn't there. You're 12 weeks, 16 weeks into RETA. Yeah, the first week you were like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. You're maybe coming out the gates working real hard. And then towards the end, you're also kind of falling short on some things that you weren't previously. Get more steps. Now, how can you do this? That's obvious. Everybody knows how to fucking walk. But I would get a walking treadmill, okay? Obviously, with it going into summer right now and the weather being nice, of course, walking outside is great. But I have worked with so many clients, over 1,000, and I know better to know that some people are just going to be kind of lazy. But a lot of people do sit on their phone. A lot of people do work at home. A lot of people do have times where they're like sitting and they could just be walking. If you have that treadmill, a lot of times you can bring it in, say, my office, for example, and use it here or wherever that applies for you. And it's just an easy way to do work on your phone, sit on your phone, doom scroll. Don't recommend, but a lot of people do it. And you could be also getting your steps on the treadmill. And then actively make sure you go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to start making sure I hit X amount of steps every single day. If you've been figuring out your average was 9K every day, move it up to 12 and make sure you maintain that every single day and watch how things start to change, because you have to remember RETA helps with increased basal metabolic rate expenditure. So basically the calories that you're burning, all right, you doing nothing at all is already improved using RETA. But if you go out of your way to do a little bit more, there's going to be more bang for your buck. So what is a great way to do that without causing too much fatigue? Just getting some extra steps. I am telling you, you guys are going to hear this and think, oh, this is a lame-ass step. Bro, I have helped people make stupid, crazy transformations. You guys got to trust me. Sometimes the simple answer is the right answer, okay? Now, the last thing I said, I was going to hit you with a double whammy. Something a lot of people don't realize. What does everybody like to do? Save money and not overspend? Well, I don't know. There are people that like to spend money, I guess. I guess I like to spend money. Point is, everybody likes deals. That's what we'll say, right? Everybody can agree we like a deal. If something's on sale, you're going to probably get the thing on sale if it's the same thing. My point is, if you guys are buying the 60 milligram RETATRUTIDEs or the who knows what it is, how much they can offer all in one vial now. Don't. Truthfully, the best bang is going to be getting the 10 or 20s. That's really it. I wouldn't go beyond that. Why? Because the longer that RETA is sitting there, and who knows how you're even storing it, if you're not storing it properly, it's going to lose potency. So literally, that first milligram you take versus the last milligram from that vial is not the same amount. If you have ever noticed that you're taking the same dose, and all of a sudden you open up a new vial, and maybe you didn't even put 2 and 2 together until just now as I'm saying it, and you take that next dose of the new vial that you just reconstituted, it's the same dose you were taking before, and all of a sudden you're like, dude, what the heck? I'm getting some more side effects than usual, or man, my appetite's more suppressed than usual. What the heck? That's crazy. It's the same dose. Why does it all of a sudden feel like it hit harder this week? That would be why, and that's not on accident. So if you get a smaller one, like 10 mgs, 20 mgs, no more than 20, I would say, you're going to make sure that you run through it in a quick enough time that you're essentially getting everything that you're paying for, okay? Because after it's reconstituted, it does start losing potency quicker than people realize, okay? So honestly, that's a pretty big one, is people not even realizing they're taking the proper dose. Now, don't try to compensate for that, because it's very hard to mathematically come up with, well, how much do I take after this many days and it's been sitting in the... You see what I'm saying? Don't do that. You're going to cause more issues later because you're going to lose track and do it incorrectly. But technically, could you probably calculate this and figure it out? Yes, but it would be hard, okay? So do not recommend that. My point is just make sure up front you're not getting these crazy high amounts all in one vial so that you are running through it within like a month is what I'd like to say, okay? If it's beyond a month... If you're lasting you 3 months plus, bro, you're screwed. That's not working for you. That's not a great way to go about it. Yeah, those are really the 3 steps that I would be considering and factoring into making sure your RETA's still hitting like day one, okay? And trust me, if you apply these things, it's going to be super beneficial. You guys, towards the end of the video, I said I would mention a place we can go. The link is in my description area. We have a couple different things. Obviously, Forged Genetics, if you guys want to join up one-on-one coaching, applications are there. If you want to join the school community that we offer, that has all the information sources and things you could possibly need there. If you're just interested in sourcing, then you can click the link. I have a couple different places, Straight Labs and Pro Elite Research in different areas, okay? Now, with all of that said, if you guys have any questions, I would just try to reach out to me on my other platforms, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. And yeah, other than that, I think we are good. I appreciate you guys. Leave any comments down below with any questions you guys have or videos you want to see. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.